It looked like just another period drama, but behind the grand halls and quiet confessions were secrets that changed television forever. These untold truths about Brideshead Revisited will make you see the classic in a completely new light.
Where did you get the car?
Property of a very gloomy man called the Hardcott. Do please return the bits to him if I kill myself.
Brideshead Revisited was envisioned as a straightforward 7-hour miniseries, but strikes, delays, and budget chaos threw everything into uncertainty. Filming was halted midway, leaving the project on the verge of cancellation. For months, cast and crew feared it would never be finished. When production finally resumed, the original scripts were reworked and expanded. What was supposed to be 7 hours ballooned into over 11. This created the longest British drama ever attempted at that time. The delay forced actors to grow older on screen, which oddly suited the story. Jeremy Irons later admitted the pause helped him mature into the role of Charles. Without the interruptions, the series would have been shorter and less faithful. Instead, the chaos gave it epic scope. The adaptation became richer than anyone imagined. What began as disaster turned into triumph. Every delay became part of its texture. Viewers didn't just see a drama, they witnessed history stretched across years. The near collapse gave it unexpected depth, and it transformed the series into a legend. But if you thought the chaos ended there, you're wrong, because
God bless Hardcott!
Whoever he may be!
So please come to luncheon today, Sebastian Flight.
the role of Charles Ryder defined Jeremy Irons' career. Yet producers originally had other names in mind, some considered actors who were already established in period drama. Irons was seen as too unknown and risky. But when he auditioned, his intensity and voice silenced doubts. His ability to blend detachment with vulnerability was unmatched. He embodied Charles as both observer and participant. The hesitation almost cost him the role, but his performance became iconic, launching him into stardom. Viewers couldn't imagine anyone else wandering through Brideshead Castle. His narration carried the weight of nostalgia and regret. Irons himself admitted the role changed his entire life. He became the face of 1980s prestige television. The gamble on an unknown had paid off. Without him, the series might not have worked. The choice became one of casting's greatest victories, and it reshaped the careers of everyone involved. But what happened next left everyone shocked.
Ambition, everybody agrees she's the perfect wife for a painter.
I had nursed a love of architecture, but my sentiments at heart were insular and medieval.
The production needed a stately home worthy of Brideshead. They found it in Castle Howard in North Yorkshire. The estate's grandeur perfectly matched Evelyn Waugh's descriptions. Its interiors and gardens became characters in themselves. Filming there was logistically difficult but visually stunning. Rooms had to be painstakingly dressed to match the 1920s. Local staff helped accommodate the massive crew. Tourism at Castle Howard skyrocketed after the broadcast. Fans travelled from across the world to see the locations. The house itself became synonymous with Brideshead Revisited. The connection boosted its cultural status for decades. Today, Castle Howard is still remembered most for this series. The production elevated bricks and mortar into television myth. Every shot inside the halls looked like art. The estate carried as much weight as any actor. It stood as a monument to decadence and decay, and it gave the story an unforgettable backdrop. But that wasn't all. The castle also hid another secret.
Always summer, the fruit always ripe, and Aloysius always in a good temper.
I feel positively middle-aged, which is infinitely worse.
Before Brideshead Revisited, period dramas were short, neat, and low budget. This series blew that formula apart. It stretched to over 11 hours of screen time. The detail was closer to literature than television. Every pause, gesture, and costume carried meaning. It proved audiences had the patience for long-form storytelling. Critics hailed it as a turning point in television history. Producers across the industry suddenly raised their ambitions. No one had seen a drama with such depth before. The show blurred the line between cinema and TV. It forced networks to rethink what television could achieve. It made costume drama into high art. Audiences felt they were watching literature come alive. The legacy of that experiment still echoes today. Streaming epics owe a debt to its risk. Without it, prestige drama might not exist as we know it. But what happened behind the camera was even more surprising.
I'm sure he'll be sorry to leave.
Oh, don't worry, Rex will find another bargain somewhere.
Your brother and sister sat and talked about the arrangement of the house until bedtime.
Because of the production delays, filming stretched far longer than expected. Actors spent years inhabiting their characters. This gave performances a depth rarely seen on television. Jeremy Irons aged naturally into Charles's disillusionment. Anthony Andrews grew into Sebastian's decline with haunting realism. Their chemistry deepened as they lived through the chaos together. Cast members later said the delays bound them like family. They weren't just playing parts, they were living them. Scenes gained authenticity from real time passing. That intensity bled onto the screen. The characters felt painfully real because the actors carried them so long. The series became a lived-in world instead of a set piece. The delays, once seen as disaster, gave it life. It proved that time itself could be an actor. The realism stunned critics who expected costume drama cliches. Performances were hailed as career-defining, and the actors themselves never escaped the shadow of Brideshead. But that wasn't all. The personal cost was immense.
Do you remember how the sun came out our last evening? Just as it has done today.
Ought we to be drunk every night?
Yes. I think we should.
Anthony Andrews played Sebastian with heartbreaking fragility. The character's alcoholism and decline mirrored painful truths. Andrews immersed himself so deeply it shook him personally. He described feeling consumed by Sebastian's despair. The performance was widely praised, but the toll was heavy. Andrews struggled to shake off the role after filming. Friends worried he was too close to the character's pain. Critics noted his Sebastian felt almost autobiographical. The vulnerability made the performance unforgettable. But it came at a personal cost. Andrews admitted it haunted him for years. The character's decline mirrored the fragility of youth. Viewers were devastated watching his collapse. It was one of television's most painful portraits. Andrews' dedication nearly broke him, but it gave the world one of the greatest performances ever filmed. The sacrifice was real and it shows in every frame. But what happened with the costumes shocked everyone.
But in Athens it was easy. We were staying at the legation. One day after lunch I simply walked out.
Mr. Atkinson at Cook's promised it would arrive by the 24th, but unfortunately
The wardrobe wasn't just background, it told its own story. Every garment reflected shifts in time and character. Sebastian's bright Oxford clothes gave way to drab suits. Charles's attire matured as his world grew darker. Designers researched period fashion in obsessive detail. They sourced vintage fabrics whenever possible. The clothing was tailored as if for real aristocrats. Actors admitted the costumes transformed their performances. Even extras wore garments designed with history in mind. The outfits marked privilege, decline, and lost youth. Critics praised the visual storytelling in fabric. It became a subtle language for viewers to decode. Clothes grew heavier and darker as tragedy loomed. This attention to detail set a new standard. It influenced costume design for decades afterward. Fashion itself became a character in the drama. And it helped turn Brideshead Revisited into an icon. But what happened after broadcast took everyone by surprise.
So Sebastian is in pursuit of the fox, and our little problem is shelved for an hour or two.
Do you think it good architecturally?
One of the most beautiful houses I know.
When it aired, expectations were modest. Instead, it became a sensation far beyond Britain. Viewers across Europe and America were captivated. Its prestige reached literary and academic circles. Universities began teaching it alongside Evelyn Waugh's novel. Tourism to filming locations boomed. Castle Howard became synonymous with television history. Actors suddenly became international stars overnight. Jeremy Irons broke into Hollywood soon after. Anthony Andrews found his career forever linked to Sebastian. The series was hailed as the gold standard of adaptation. Its influence crossed borders, reshaping television worldwide. Foreign broadcasters used it as proof that long dramas worked. It became the blueprint for event television. What began as a troubled project ended as a triumph. Audiences demanded more period dramas with similar scope. It redefined what international audiences expected from British TV. And its reach has never truly faded. But the way it ended shocked everyone.
I found myself buoyed and exhilarated. I was normally a slow and deliberate painter. Modo sedet sola civitas, vanity of vanities, all is vanity.
Most dramas tied stories neatly together. Brideshead Revisited refused to offer easy closure. Its final scenes were somber, reflective, and unresolved. Charles wandered Brideshead, haunted by memory. The story ended with loss rather than triumph. Viewers expecting romance were devastated. Instead, they received melancholy and regret. The boldness stunned critics and fans alike. It felt closer to literature than television. The decision elevated it beyond melodrama. The ending lingered long after credits rolled. It forced viewers to sit with discomfort. This refusal to comfort became part of its legacy. It showed tragedy could be more powerful than happiness. The risk secured its place in cultural history. No one forgot the bleak conclusion. It became one of the most talked about finales of its time. The ending was its final act of defiance, and it cemented the series as a true classic. But the final secret is perhaps the most shocking of all.
Lord Marchmain's passed away, sir. You'll excuse me, sir.
I'm homeless, childless, middle-aged, and loveless, Hooper.
Before Brideshead Revisited, TV was rarely seen as high culture. This series changed that perception forever. Its scale, detail, and ambition stunned critics. They compared it to cinema and literature. The adaptation proved television could rival great art. Suddenly, TV was taken seriously as a medium. Audiences felt they had watched history, not entertainment. It bridged the gap between page and screen. The influence still echoes through modern drama. Prestige television owes much to this breakthrough. Without it, shows like Downton Abbey might not exist. The artistry gave period drama new life. It set standards still studied today. The series made small screen into canvas. It showed what television could truly achieve, and it left a mark no other could match. This was more than a show, it was art, and it changed television forever.